Greetings to all watching and listening to this episode of Chezuba Talks. I'm Tej, and with me today is Rebecca Merritt. She's the president and chairman of Nicholas Fund for Education. It's a nonprofit based in Washington, US. As many of you know, Chezuba Talks hosts inspiring leaders from the nonprofit community and shines a spotlight on the phenomenal work they do all across the world. The Ixil region of Guatemala is home to a large population of indigenous Mayans. They have long struggled with poverty, marginalization, and limited access to quality education. According to USAID, the average schooling in Guatemala is a short 4 years, and only 3 in 10 children graduate from sixth grade. The Nicholas Fund for Education is working to alleviate these issues, keeping in mind the importance of preserving Mayan culture and traditions. Let's find out more. Welcome to Chezuba Talks, Rebecca.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So, Rebecca, tell us, what does Nicholas Education Fund do? And please describe the programs that you offer to the Mayan youth.
Yes, our focus is education. Our mission is to empower the Ixil teens and children through education to overcome a generational cycle of poverty that they've experienced. So we have a junior and senior high school. We have a preschool. We offer tutoring to the elementary students in sixth grade. And we have an adult literacy program. And we have 11 community libraries that we've established to promote the love of reading.
11, you say?
In Guatemala, reading is not something people do for fun. And we want to encourage them to love reading as much as we do.
Absolutely. That sounds wonderful. And 11 is quite a number. So tell us more about this book club.
We had an individual on our board who was instrumental in starting the libraries. Bill Safstrom was his name. He was an educator. And through his relationships with teachers and librarians and donors, we've amassed more than 7,000 books throughout the library system. And so many now that we are embarking on a program to put barcodes on each book so we can track what's of interest to these readers, so we can get more donations of books that are of interest. And the books are wide ranging. Many of them are for children to promote reading, because many of the people using the libraries have limited fluency in Spanish. Their Mayan dialect, Ixil, is their mother language. So they are learning Spanish and learning to read in Spanish. So the books are at a fairly elementary level. But we also have some books there that are how-to books, like mechanics or electrical repairs, things that can help them in their daily lives once they check the book out and look at it. So we're hoping to obtain even more books. We want to keep the flow of books being fresh and interesting to people. And people can go to our website. There's a book drive tab on the website. You can select a book, or you can select a package of books. We try to purchase things within Guatemala to promote the economy within Guatemala. So folks can donate through our website, and then the books will get directly up to the village from a source in Guatemala City.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. Now, you say you are trying to encourage reading in the population there. Is the curriculum culturally relevant? So does it take into account the Mayan traditions and languages also?
I would say that the curriculum developed by the country of Guatemala, that's managed through the Ministry of Education, is quite specific. There's a number of Mayan people groups within Guatemala, more than 21. So I don't believe that the national curriculum relates to specific Mayan people groups, but we do. We exceed the national curriculum at Nicholas Christian School. and our students celebrate their Ixil and Quiche identities. We always have traditional dancing. Sometimes when we arrive, the people in the school have borrowed traditional dress from aunts and mothers that come from villages all throughout this region. And there's differences from one village to another. In Guatemala, the way you know where a person is from is by the color and patterns on their skirt and their top. And so even when you marry, you continue to
Wow.
wear those traditional patterns and colors in your dress.
How
And so
beautiful. Mhm.
we encourage people at our school to on special days to wear their traditional clothing. We do have a school uniform for use most of the time because some of those garments that are borrowed are very precious and expensive, and so we we don't want anything to happen to them. But we love it when they do their traditional dancing for us. And Ixil is a spoken language. It's only recently become a written language. So it would surprise you to know that our Ixil class is one of the most difficult classes that our students have because of the fact that they didn't learn how to read or write it in their homes. They learned how to speak it well, but that's a challenging class to learn to read and write it, and to be able to express yourself in Ixil in writing is a challenge. So our students take a number of subjects, in the order of 15 to 18 subjects. And they also have electives that they can take, including carpentry. And both boys and girls really enjoy our carpentry class. The girls always say, I can do that just as well as any boy. And the thing that's been really exciting after having this carpentry class for so many years is that the students have built all the desks and chairs in our school. They have
What are
built,
you saying? Oh,
yes,
that's
and they
so
are
cool.
very sturdy. Weaving is culturally something that Mayans do beautifully. It's so colorful. And they elected to take the tapestries that they had woven and put those over the desktops, and then put resin over it to preserve the fabric underneath. So the desks are beautiful, and they have real pride of ownership in them. And some of our graduates have actually gone on, at least 3 of them have built a house out of wood for their families when they get married. And the houses do not look like the homes of their parents. Their parents live in cinder block, small homes. They chose cinder block because bullets can't go through cinder block. And the parents were children during the war years. They remember the genocide and how families at that time were burned alive in the cornstalk homes that they lived in the early days of the war between 1960 and 1996. So the people who are the parents of our students were children during those war years. And so the parents selected a cinder block home because it was more secure, and bullets could not pass through it, and it couldn't be burned. But our students are choosing, maybe because they have an enhanced sense of security and peace, they're choosing wood structures, and they're very creative in how they're building. Every home that I've seen built thus far looks different from the others. So one even has a skylight in it. I've never seen a skylight in this part of Guatemala till then. So,
Let's take a break to understand what Chezuba is. Everyone at some point ponders on how this beautiful life can be made more meaningful. Maybe you're a leader trying to enhance your employees' experience at your organization. Or you already work for the community and seek volunteers with state-of-the-art skills to strengthen your nonprofit. Whatever your situation, know that you can make a difference. Chezuba began with this very vision, a vision to facilitate every skill and every passion in the world in meeting a social need. Corporate volunteering has several benefits for both businesses and organizations. In parallel, Experienced and enthusiastic volunteers join NGO workers, enabling them to serve the community more effectively. Chezuba offers everyone looking to add purpose and meaning to their lives a chance to connect or volunteer virtually with nonprofit organizations from over 100 countries around the world. Visit www.chezuba.net and explore opportunities to find meaning. Chezuba, your platform to do good. And now, back with our guest. Yeah, that's beautiful. So, have you thought of giving these students an opportunity for marketing their talent to the outside world?
Well, one of the things that our school focuses on is entrepreneurship. Uh, there is a lack of jobs in this part of Guatemala. That's true. And so we believe that our students are going to be the leaders of the future and the employers of the future. So we teach entrepreneurship, and we're teaching them how to write business plans. We're teaching them how to secure financing. We're about to embark on an agribusiness program with an established nonprofit called Agros International, where students will be working in greenhouses that they eventually will have on their own property, growing things like tomatoes and other crops that are high yield and a good price for each of those marketable items. The thing that we found
Fantastic.
is that their parents they traditionally farm uh, peas, snow peas, and corn and beans. And they eat the corn and beans, but they sell the snow peas. And the snow peas are sold all over in Walmart, and as well as I had heard at one point they were selling those in England in the Costco stores. But the soil, they haven't done enough crop rotation because of really just focusing on those limited crops, and the soil's becoming exhausted. So this agribusiness program will teach about crop rotation and improving soil fertility so that these students can help their parents by having better crops, and they'll be learning how to market those crops in the process.
Fantastic. That's just amazing. So let's talk about your staff here, the staff and the volunteers that you have at your organization. Uh, what kind of training do they receive, and how do you rotate them, or do they visit Guatemala very frequently?
Well, all of our staff are Mayan from this region. In this school, all the teachers, with one exception, are Ixil. They've gone to university. They have achieved the certification to become a teacher. And we have a salary schedule that raises their salary according to their academic um, improvements, new certifications, and things like that, as well as years of experience. We try to pay our teachers as well as we can, and we want to have retention of our staff. Our staff is very well knit together. They like each other and they work well as a team. We have one individual who's not Mayan. He is what we would call Ladino, which is a combination of a Spanish heritage as well as maybe being having some Mayan heritage there, but also perhaps English or other European types of background. He's our senior coordinator, but he is a great leader, and everyone respects Noe. Molina Guzman is his name, and the great job he does leading our team there. They've all been there for the most part since our school started in 2016. And so we've got great endurance for these teachers, and they've been with us through the COVID times when
The
we
most
had
challenging.
we had an amazing experience with COVID. And this is one time I really feel like we were prepared by God for what happened. Bill Safstrom, who was the teacher I mentioned that started the library, felt that it was important for our students to have digital literacy and access to books. And ebooks are much cheaper to acquire than say a textbook or books with paperback or hardback. So he decided that we should obtain tablets for each student in our school. Additionally, we wanted to have an outreach for more remote communities that the students couldn't travel far enough to come to our school. So for about a year before the pandemic, our teachers worked on a digital curriculum that was not only consistent with the Guatemalan Ministry of Education curriculum, but enhanced it through videos that the teachers themselves developed, as well as videos you can acquire on the internet.
Lovely. Mm.
So the last shipment of tablets arrived in February 2020. The curriculum
Just
that was
in time.
digital was finished only a month before, and the schools closed on March 14th, 2020. So
Yeah,
our
what
students, a week after the pandemic, had tablets in hand with digital curriculum.
perfect.
Their education was uninterrupted throughout the pandemic because
Perfect.
the SIM cards, the memory cards in the tablets were swapped out every month with new, fresh curriculum. That our brave teachers did go out to villages. They met with students to kind of check in with them, see if they were experiencing any problems with their tablet, answer questions, check their homework. So our teachers did go out with personal protective equipment. The students, we tried to always meet outside with students so that they stayed safe as well. And we
Mhm.
made it through the pandemic really in better shape than any school in the
Most,
region.
yeah, yeah. What a story that is. Actually, it's like perfect timing. It's like something ordained you to do that at that time, right?
Yes, it
Yeah,
was not us, but I do have to credit Bill Safstrom, our wonderful academic coordinator at that time, for the insight to be moving towards digital curriculum in advance of this
yeah.
development that none of us could have ever known about or anticipated. It
So
really was
beautiful.
quite miraculous.
Yeah. And lastly, here, Rebecca, tell us about what kind of support do you seek?
Well, we seek financial support because our school is operated on donations from uh, people just like yourself. Uh, and we are also seeking people to to purchase books on our website for the libraries. Um, we ask for people to pray for us because we firmly believe in the power of prayer. We wouldn't exist without that. And there's so much more that we want to accomplish. We want to build a vocational center to help um, uh, students access our carpentry program, but we'd like to add additional programs, culinary arts or welding or things that the community needs.
Sewing. Mhm.
So we're still in the process of kind of doing a survey of the needs in the community where our new school is located adjacent to see what's necessary. But carpentry is definitely a needed skill, and we're already really good at teaching that. So we want to start with that program. So we're in the
Right.
process of amassing money to build a carpentry center on our school campus. We're moving into a
Wonderful.
larger school in January of 2025. We'll have a school that can accommodate as many as 300 students from the Ixil region.
Lovely.
Yes, and we're very excited about that, to be able to offer this really high quality education to students
Yes.
who education is not as high a quality in this region, particularly in the elementary schools. Most of the teachers are not uh, terribly well supported by the Guatemalan
Mm.
government. In fact,
Mm.
many of them lack textbooks to teach their students. They don't even have textbooks in some cases to teach from in the elementary schools.
Mm.
So these students are unfortunately kept in poverty through poor education because of some of the systemic discrimination and disenfranchisement by their own government that doesn't value them as citizens enough to empower them with the resources like sports equipment, art supplies, computers, things like that. These little
Right.
elementary schools don't have those. Our school is well equipped. We're fortunate, but I wish more schools in this region had the blessings that we've experienced.
Well, I wish you luck, and God willing, you will get all those funds and the resources. And here's through wishing through this podcast that people will approach you with donations. People will ask you how they can help uh, in understanding and supporting your efforts, particularly through this education and empowerment. And yeah, I just wish that this world would be a more equitable and respectful place, right?
Yes, yes. It's a beautiful culture that deserves to be celebrated.
I'm
It
sure.
really
Yes.
focuses on family and community. And I've been privileged to know these people for over 25 years. And I grow each time I travel to Guatemala. We go at least 3 times a year. This year we're
Three
going
times.
6 times. So every time I go, I come back a better person. And we do invite people to come with us. Come and see for yourself what we're doing in Guatemala.
Lovely. And I'm privileged to talk to you to understand what you are doing through this organization. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Tej.